Well, hello everyone. How you doing on this terrific Thursday, April the 6th of the year 2023? Hope you're doing outstanding. I'm going to talk about what is really passive income. Passive. You'll hear a lot of real estate investors talk about passive income. And then you might hear them whisper a little bit, but you really got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to study your market. If you're self-managed, you got to learn how to market, interview tenants, etc., etc., etc. So, with that being said, I'm Mazske Finance. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. I am not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you something the doctor told me yesterday. I'll give you some of my results, okay? But first, passive income. How can you get truly passive income? I'm just drinking water right now. I had my cup of green tea and a handful of nuts. Okay, so moving on. What you do have to do, okay? I will say it. You do have to do the work. If you're not already wealthy, you got to do the work, okay? You need to work a job, earn a paycheck, bring in income. Now with that income, you save up a down payment. You start investing. You can start investing in stocks and mutual funds if you so desire, but I'd be a little cautious at the moment. The market's kind of wonky. The earth, the world is a little wonky right now. Be a little careful with that. Be cautious. The real estate market's a little wonky too, but still you gotta, never a bad time to buy a great deal in real estate, okay? But you gotta do the work. You gotta learn where you're going to buy rentals at if you want to buy a rental property. You have to learn your market. You can't just haphazardly go buy a house and say, I'm gonna rent this. You gotta learn how to do it. Okay, I used to be able to say, read those books up there, but they're packed away in a box. Okay, but you can read books that will tell you step by step by step. Coach Carson, Chad Carson, has a great book out about being a real estate investor, about buying real estate, Bigger Pockets. If you look on their website, they will have great books out about how to be a real estate investor. Okay, you can buy a book like Michael Zuber's One Rental at a Time. You can buy a book by John Schwab, Building Wealth One House at a Time, whatever it was called. Okay, you can do that kind of stuff, but you got to do the work to buy real estate. But if you want to get to truly passive income, you got to build up your wealth to become a millionaire. You have to become accredited, okay? And why do you have to become accredited? Because once you become accredited, doors open for you. And accredited means you have a net worth of $1 million, not counting your primary residence, okay? All your assets have to add up. Your stocks, your bonds, your bank accounts, your real estate values, etc., add up to $1 million to be accredited, okay? But once you're accredited, you can buy other assets, cash producing assets. Remember I talked about that yesterday. And two of those that I invest in are mineral rights acreage and oil drilling. Okay. Why do I call them passive income? And why do I say, as I'm saying now, they are truly passive income? Real estate's work. I still work with real estate. I'm looking at realtor.com all the time. I'm looking at houses in my market, other markets. I'm contacting my property manager, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm working. But with mineral rights and oil drilling, I got to do the work to study, to do my due diligence, to study who I want to invest my money with. And I'll give you two examples real quick. And I'm going to tell you something big that's coming up with one of my investments. It's like, if you could be a part of this, I wish you were so I could meet you. I really wish you were so I could meet you at this event. Okay. But if you're not a part of it, you can't be there, okay? But what the two investments, I use King Operating Corporation for my oil drilling. Do your due diligence on them, okay? You got to be accredited to invest with them. They are a small operation. They go out and they drill wells. They will lease 12,000 acres. Then when they lease the acres, they will have vintage wells on them that produce income, okay? That's what I'm getting, is income from vintage wells. It's not a lot, but there's 200 some or 300 wells, whatever it is, so it's something, okay? It adds up. And then as they drill new wells, a brand new oil well, natural gas well, it produces income, okay? They don't ask me for more money. I don't have tenants not paying rent. et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do have to wait. I gotta be patient. You don't get money immediately. You gotta wait. You gotta be patient. Okay, but I'm gonna move it over to Eckerd Land and Acquisitions and Mineral Rights Acreage here because I want to talk more on this in this event that's coming up. Then I'll talk about what the doc told me yesterday. Okay, with Eckerd Mineral Rights Acreage, they're buying in a couple states, Oklahoma and Texas. Okay, and what Eckerd's doing, they're buying like lots of land, hundreds of acres, or the mineral rights to the land. Mineral rights is what's under the surface of the land. Okay, so they're buying a lot, hundreds of acres. They then will sell it to us partners. Okay, we can buy acreage. They package up 100 acres, 200 acres, 500 acres into a portfolio. They sell it to us. We then own 1 acre, 2 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres of that portfolio. We get our pro rata share. Whatever income's coming in for that package, it could be a variety of different operators. It could be Devon, it could be Continental, Exxon, Mobil, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A bunch of different operators. Whatever income's coming in, we get our pro rata share. Okay? They're not drilling the wells. We have to wait on these operators, the big wigs, the big dog boys, the operators, the ones that's the oil rigs and that sort of thing. And then normally they say when we purchase a portfolio, it takes about 6 months, 180 days to get our first revenue check. And sometimes you get that first check and it's several months of revenue. And sometimes it's a bigger amount, sometimes it's a small amount. As the months go on, sometimes then they continue small amounts. But then you will see when one of these operators drills a new well or 2 or 3 or 4 wells and they frack them and they get them online and they're producing, all of a sudden monthly revenue will jump up. Okay? But then they kind of stabilizes down. Okay? But I'm not talking just about that. But Eckerd, what he does is he hosts a conference annually. If you look back a year ago, I attended an Eckerd conference. It was at Amelia Island in Florida, northern Florida. It was a little chilly because I'm in South Florida. It was about a 6-7 hour drive, I think, when I drove there last year. But if you look back, I got pictures. I put them on a video. It was a great time. We're old. We've been on a lot of vacations over the years. That was one of our best vacations that we've been to, I think. One reason was because we didn't have to plan it. We didn't have to do it. We just showed up. Okay? We stayed in a nice resort area. The very first night we got there, we were late a little bit. They had a welcome dinner. We didn't know anybody. We got our dinner, got up the next day, went to breakfast, and then went to activities. That next day, then we did 2 activities. We went on a horseback riding trip, and we went horseback riding on a beach. Now, I grew up around horses. Growing up, we had 2 ponies. My dad had 2 different ponies at 2 different times. So I rode the ponies when I was a kid. Horses were around me. I had 2 different jobs on horse farms. I worked a rodeo one time. I was the guy, teenager, I was probably 15 years old, leading horses out into the ring. Okay, it was a small country rodeo. It was no big deal. Okay, but I always remember that day because I was skinny and I was wearing a pair of jeans that were too big for me and they kept falling down kind of, and I was holding them up. I didn't have a belt. I didn't have a lot of money. So anyway, but this Eckerd conference, we went horseback riding on a beach. I've never ridden a horse on a beach, so that was good. There's pictures on that other video from a year ago. Okay, we then had lunch, and in the afternoon went on another tour that was a Segway tour. That thing you ride, you use your balance to steer it. You lean forward, you lean back. You don't really. You can hold on, but you don't use your hands to steer it. You steer it with your body weight. Okay, and that was. It takes just a bit to get used to, but it's easy. So we did that. And then that night we had a beach party. Yeah, that was first night, big night. Had a beach party. Roasted pig over fire. 2 of them, 3 of them, whatever it was. Open bar. Not that I drink very much at all, but some people do. And then the whole dinner, and then they had a live band there the entire time. They had a fire spinner, like after dark, put on a display with the fire, and They had campfires going, and we sat around the campfire and had s'mores, graham crackers and chocolate and marshmallows, and we cooked them over the fire and sat there and ate them. And it was a good party. It was a good party. I had stuff around my neck, and it was like it was a beach party. So then the next day we got up bright and early, had a nice breakfast, and then sat in talks all day long. We had a conference, and it was a variety of speakers. Okay, it was Troy Eckert, it was the Eckert team, it was outside speakers, I had a book that I showed y'all a while back. It was that author of a book, Mills, last name was Mills. He wrote about the roaring 20s coming up, and so on and so on. And then that night we had a party on the land under a big giant tent. They had another live band. This time they had fish, big fish, and all the food. Again, they had the open bar, and just the festivities and the fellowship and the meeting of people. Both nights we met a variety of people, and I'm just a little guy. I am just a little guy. I met people that were worth big bucks, lots of money. So, but it was great. A lot of people were older than me. Some were younger than me. I was one of the, I had a little less gray hair a year ago. So, I did see a lot of gray hair there, but there were some younger people there. Not very many though, but there were some. Made some good friends, just brief. I've stayed in touch with a couple over time. So anyway, coming up just in a month or so, I'll be in San Antonio, Texas. I've been holding off on getting my tickets because I didn't know where I'd be flying from. I didn't know I'd be flying from South Florida or from Panama or somewhere else. I didn't know. So my house hasn't sold yet. So I bought the tickets flying out of this area, flying to San Antonio, Texas for their Troy's 25th annual conference. Listen to this, what he's going to do. We get there a day early. Well, we don't get there till nighttime a day early, but we get there a day early. So the next morning we might do something in San Antonio. We've never been to Texas before. And then we'll get an Uber to the resort area. And then we'll have a welcome dinner that first night. We'll get all checked in and everything. They always give us stuff. I got coats and jackets from Eckerd, got ball caps and so on and so on. And they give us stuff. And then we will the next day get up and do activities. There's more partners coming. He said in a video this morning I just saw, there's like 600 of us investors coming and 40 members of their staff that should be there. And they will host us. That's what he said. They will host us. But then we're signed up on the next day to do a Best of San Antonio tour. It starts in the morning and it goes to, I think, early afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something. Lunch is provided. We get breakfast, lunch, and we'll get a tour. It's not Eckerd putting it on. It's outside group giving us a tour of San Antonio, the river walk, whatever they show us, okay? And then we come back, and that first night we have another Cinco de Mayo. We have a Cinco de Mayo party. That's what it is. I couldn't think of what it was. Cinco de Mayo party. I'm not sure if I've seen the menu yet, but I guarantee you it'll be a good time. And then the next day, I may have it flip-flopped exactly how we're doing things. But then we will have a conference again. We have some big name speakers coming. We have Steve Forbes coming. Forbes family, billionaires. Steve Forbes ran for president back some time ago. He's going to be the guest speaker. Troy Eckerd and the team will be talking to us. There's going to be somebody from the banking industry talking to us about the banking stuff going on in the country. They'll talk about the macro picture, I believe. There's going to be someone talking about self-storage and commercial investing in real estate. And other topics about oil drilling and mineral rights acres, that sort of thing. But then, I think it's that night or the next night, whatever it is. But we are then going, for the next night's party, we are getting, how are we doing this? We're going to a rodeo. We are going to a private professional rodeo put on for us. Like you see on TV sometimes, if you ever watched them. I did back in the 90s, I think. You might see a Texas rodeo. It's a real rodeo in some arena. us Eckerd investors will be there, the Eckerd team, and they'll have bull riding, horseback riding, barrel racing, that sort of thing. We do that. We get dinner along the way. I forget where we're getting the dinner that night. It's probably there. I don't remember where dinner is. But then after the rodeo, there's going to be a free concert. This is a famous singer who's going to be there. I don't know what kind of music you like. What music do they play in Texas? What's Texas known for? Country music, okay? You may have heard of this singer. He's famous in country music, Josh Turner. One song that's kind of well known is Long Black Train. He has kind of a deep voice. He's putting on a concert for us, okay, at the wherever they have the rodeo, I think in that arena. So we'll have that, and I think by the time we get back to the hotel, it'll be pushing midnight, and then I think the next day we're flying out. So we'll get up, we'll get breakfast, and we'll have a little talk in the morning. Troy will say his goodbyes, and we'll say our goodbyes, and then I think that afternoon we fly out and fly back. Okay? All right, so moving on. I was going to tell you what happened to me at the doc yesterday. I don't like the American healthcare system. I'll say it again. I do not like the American healthcare system. I don't like how they're doing things. I just don't like them. I had lab results. Early this month, I went to the dermatologist. They cut off spots on my back. That happens to me periodically since probably my 30s, okay? And they sent them to the lab. They came back and they put on their website when I log in that it's all abbreviated terminology, Latin terminology, but then I see the word atypical for a mole, and then melanoma. It's in the description, melanoma. 2 spots. And then when they call me and they say the doctor needs to see me to discuss my treatment options, I ask why. They say the doctor will tell me when she sees me. Okay. Okay. Since you won't tell me on the phone. And then I'm just like, what do they want to tell me? And I Google what it said on the lab. And I'm reading all this stuff about melanoma, skin cancer. Okay. So anyway, I go to the doctor yesterday. The lady first brings me in the office and she says the doctor's going to talk to you about your treatment options. And I say, can someone tell me what I'm diagnosed with? And she said, the doctor will tell you. Okay. So when the doctor comes in, she starts talking and she shows me a sheet. I meant to carry it in here. I don't have it in here. I'm sorry. But it was a sheet from benign melanoma. Okay. Talk about a mole. Benign, no cancer. Melanoma, skin cancer. Then you had like mild, moderate, severe. Once you get to severe, you still don't have cancer, but you're like the next place you go would be cancer if your body goes in that direction. There's no guarantee your body will go in that direction. I'm not at severe. I'm not at moderate. I am in between mild and moderate. I have an irregular shaped mole, that, according to her, and you got to check those. It's not cancer. They went through, it said melanoma on the website. They won't tell me nothing on the phone. And then I got to come in. They never had me take my shirt off. All she did was talk to me. And my copay was $85 freaking dollars. That's the American healthcare system. You get me all worried that I got skin cancer. And I'm like, man, I freaking changed my diet to eat healthy. You know, my body needs to fight this stuff off. So anyway, what they say though is I need to take those 2 spots off. And I was like, how long do you think they've been there? And she was like, they could have been there a long time. And I was like, years? She said, decades. And I was like, so they could have looked like this for decades. She said, yes. We don't know. You're a new patient to us. We don't know if they've been there since you've been in your 20s and 30s. They may have never changed. She knows I eat healthy. She knows I read the book Eat to Beat Disease. She told me she ordered the book Eat to Beat Disease after I told her about it from the first visit. So she said she likes to get the stuff out of the skin because then there's no risk it will become cancer. Okay, I understand that. I'm all about removing risk. I get a colonoscopy and they've snipped out over 2 different times 7 polyps. Okay, once you snip it out, there's no risk of getting colon cancer. I like removing risk. I don't mind chop stuff off me. I don't care. I don't mind that kind of stuff. So you keep it from growing that way. So anyway, they said they can't do the snipping because it has to go a little deeper, so they want a surgeon to do it. Okay, just more money. So I got a call. Probably they haven't called me yet, so I'll probably call once I finish recording and make an appointment and go get snipped. 2 spots on my back. But they said it'll be a plastic surgeon type guy, and he will smooth it over where there won't be a scar. I don't care if I have scars. I already got some scars. I don't care if I get more scars. No big deal to me. So anyway, that's why I like functional health. Functional health looks at the entire body. If you have a headache, what is causing that headache? Sure, you take an aspirin, it fixes the headache. That eliminated the symptom. It didn't eliminate the cause of it. If you get diabetes, if you get heart disease, if you get anything, something is causing that. Yes, the American healthcare system treats the diabetes. They treat the heart disease. They don't go after the cause. Functional health's goal is to go after the cause. Okay? They look at the entire body because something's going on. I'm in the process of doing a variety of testing. I've had 22 tubes of blood taken out. I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor, okay, to monitor my blood sugar. It's been on since Sunday, and today's Thursday. It's fascinating watching that. My glucose drops very low at nighttime, and it never goes too high anyway, but I guess when I'm sleeping, my Fitbit tracks my sleeping sometimes, and my heart rate might drop into the 50s at nighttime, and I think it correlates with my glucose drop. Everything goes low. As long as I don't go too low and don't wake up. But I look at it this way. When it's time to die, not that any of us want to die. Hopefully I don't die for another 55 years. But if we can die in our sleep, that's a pretty good way to go out. You're sleeping. You won't even know it, all right? So anyway, this got long. I got things to do. So that being said, have a great day and get to the point where you can truly get passive income. Because that is what it's talking about. And if you become an Eckerd partner in mineral rights, not saying King Operating won't do this, but they don't do it. They don't throw an annual conference like this. If you become an Eckerd partner, maybe we can meet up at a conference sometime. Okay? I don't know where it'll be. This year's in San Antonio, Texas. Last year was Amelia Island, Florida. The year before was in Gateway, Colorado in the Rocky Mountains. I was supposed to go to the one in Colorado, but then it corresponded with me moving down here, and I didn't know exactly when I was moving here, and it was going to be right around that time of going to that, so I ended up canceling. I couldn't go. But I got to Amelia Island, and I got my reservations for San Antonio. I got to get a hotel reservation for that first night. And both flights, flying there and flying back, are free. Credit card rewards are paying for them. And I will get a free hotel, probably Marriott, because I got to use my Marriott certificates up. So I'll probably stay in a Marriott that first night. I think that's what I'll do. There's got to be a Marriott in San Antonio. If not, I'll stay in an IHG or a Hilton. I'm not going to stay in the Hilton. I'm saving my Hilton nights for Panama City, Panama. That's the nicest Hilton I've ever been in. All right, have a great day. Maskies signing out.